Do you remember those days? They don't feel like they're too long ago now, but do you want to come back with me? The days when you could go walking through a record store, getting your fingers dirty without having to think about anything. Those old days, people around you, near you, the smell of your fellow collector scum. Sounds good, doesn't it? Do you want to come back with me? Well, relax. I'm going to take you there. Let's go. G'day everyone, welcome back. Grandma's Handbag. Coming from you from back in time. I wish we could go back to the way it was, but we can always dream for the way it could be in the future. This is a Vinyl Finds episode dedicated to the way we used to dig, the lifeblood of vinyl, getting out there and digging, finding things. So we're going to dig into that in a moment. Hopefully I can deliver on the promise of that opening segment. There's no way I can do that. Clearly haven't dressed up for the occasion. Never mind that though. Look, cheers to you all. I hope you're all doing as well as you can in the situation. I know that some people are doing better than others. You know, there's a lot of privilege and fortune in what we do with our hobby. Believe it or not, it's not an easy hobby to maintain, and if you're able to be buying records still in different ways than we used to online at the moment, then I guess things aren't all that bad with you. So may that continue, and if not, let's hope for a brighter day. Anyway, enough about that. Just a straight Asahi Super Dry Lager, Japanese made, because it does make a difference, and it's always a good one there. If I'm going to have one beer a day, that's a good size to go with, I think. Anyway, in honor of the occasion or of the way we used to dig, it's time to bring the handbag out. So here's a bunch of finds. Dipping back in, it's a good reason or a good way that I'm quite often running late with finds, which means that I can still show things that I haven't shown before, vinyl finds over the past few months. Let's just get into it. First one I found was, so the first few are going to be some thrift store op shop finds. Early in January I found these three here. First one, Great Society with Grey Slick, conspicuous only in its absence. So this is Grey Slick pre-Jefferson Airplane with her brothers Peter and Jerry Slick. So basically, not a proto-airplane, but definitely early San Francisco sound stuff. Pretty thin and anemic, I have to say, compared to the bigger lights. You can see, I guess, why they didn't last a hell of a long time, especially after Grace was poached, I guess you could say. But you've got the two big songs that she brought with her to the airplane from the Great Society, and that is Somebody to Love and White Rabbit. So this is a live recording from the Matrix in San Francisco. I'm imagining it's either late 65 or early 66, I think. It was released in 1968 initially, this one. This is a 1980, I think, UK reissue. And I found this for all of $3. So there's the CBS Embassy, which I'm assuming is a budget label. I haven't seen that label before. But the versions on here, I've been quite familiar with White Rabbit, which I actually really love this version. There's about a 4 to 4.5 minute serpentine twisting motif intro to the actual song that you know and love from the Jefferson Airplane, which is that sort of 2-minute bolero. That's certainly there, but I actually really enjoy the intro on this. Apart from that, there's not a lot I could recommend for it, but look, I picked that up for $3 Australian, so that's £1.50 or $2 US. Really can't argue with that, especially for that version of White Rabbit again. This one as well, really excited to find this again. $3. Stone Roses Elephant Stone. Now this is a second pressing that came out, I think, in 1988. Original presses, also second press 89 maybe. Original press is 88. But look, a couple of minor scuffs and things on there, but Elephant Stone with a 7-inch version on here, and then 4 Fathom 5 and The Hardest Thing in the World. This is fairly early Roses, just after Sally Cinnamon. And the thing that I actually forgot with this, and I haven't completely done my research on it, so any Stone Roses neophytes fans there, let me know. I found this version of Elephant Stone is produced by Peter Hook and mixed by John Leckie. So I always assumed that John Leckie was the producer of Elephant Stone and all the songs off the debut album, but I guess my question is to fans there, is the Elephant Stone... I might even be confusing, I don't think Elephant Stone's on the album whatsoever, is it? Anyway, I'm going to edit this out, or just scroll over something though I'm an idiot. But look, really happy to find an original second press from the late 80s there. Alright, the third one I found in that batch, again for $3, is what we're listening to here. Philippe Farr, Les Aiguilles du Temps. I don't know. I'm really not too sure on that. But, you know, with that sort of impassioned and emotive sort of cover, just really screams 1970s, quite soft in its feeling and that as well. This is on the Elektra label, and I think it's the only album put out by this gentleman, at least under this name. And look, I was going in completely blind, and I have to say I'm pretty happy with what I uncovered with this one. Quite folkish, you know, and then when you read other descriptions, they try to mention prog or psych in there. I'm not sure I get either of those. It's folkish, but almost not easy listening, but the softer end of things, in the same way Nick Drake's Brighter Later would be softer. You know, if there is any mention of prog on here, it's probably because there's a couple of tracks with an ARP synth, Odyssey synth hanging around, but it's all fairly understated. Generally singer-songwriter, you know, nice arrangements, lovely, you know, strings dotted throughout, and some wonderful fingerpick guitar as well, electric and acoustic fingerpick. But Philippe Farr, hadn't heard of before, and really have to say, if you do see this around for a few bucks, I would recommend, if you like that folk singer-songwriter vibe of things. Alright, another French album, French-American maybe in this instance. Didn't do nearly as much for me, and I was hoping it would do a lot more. I was actually hoping it was a different album altogether, but this is Michel Polnareff, self-titled. He's got a number of self-titled albums, so this 1975, and if you read through the credits here, which are actually pretty cool, there's quite a number of names, American musicians, session musicians, a lot of different you know, fingers in the pie, so to speak. But I mean, if I read off some names I know on here: Lee Ritenour, Steve Cropper, Fred Tackett, Lee Sklar, Willie Weeks, Russ Kunkel, Jim Keltner, Lewis Fury turns up on here. So there's quite a lot of guests or studio musicians starting in here. Polnareff, I think, is pretty big in France, and with this one, by the sound of it, really tried to take on that MOR AM American radio staple, and look, generally not overly interesting. There's some nice moments on here, but whether I'm going to keep it or not, I'm not too sure. What I should mention is these ones were this and the next one, 2 or 3 actually, were picked up at a bookshop, book exchange. So they oftentimes advise when they've got something coming in, fixed price, and you can let them know straight away if you're on the ball. I'll take that one, thanks. So yeah, grab this. Didn't deliver what I was hoping, but doesn't matter. You got to be in it to win it. $5 wasn't too bad a try. This one, definitely one I was happy to grab. $10 for this Kevin Coyne with his, I think it might be his second album actually. I thought I was going to say debut. He might have been in a band before. I can't remember the name right now. I think they back him up on here. Anyway, Marjorie Razorblade. This is an Australian press, original press. And I'll show you the label there. But what this actually is a single disc version. So, I think the original UK version was at about 18 tracks and a double LP set album. This is the single disc with 11 tracks on there. So, running order changed. Still an album I really enjoyed. His later 70s stuff certainly didn't do a lot for me. The Millionaires and Teddy Bears and album with Dagmar Krause. But this one here still struck a chord pretty, I don't know, outside of folk, outside of rock stuff. Pretty raw and naked at times, but definitely singer-songwriter. Early 70s UK. Yeah, very happy to grab that one of his. Now this one was one quite a surprise for me as well. $12, Amondoul's Vive la Trance. This is an Australian press. And the more I've been playing this, the more I've been enjoying it. I initially had the idea, I've only really known the song Fly United off here, which was almost quite straight ahead as far as it went for, and what I was expecting was some wigged out Krautrock craziness, and certainly the earlier Amondoul too, like the Phallus Day from 70, 71, 69 definitely gets there. This is a little straight ahead, more straight ahead, but then, you know, if you look at that back cover there, there's still plenty of strangeness going on there. So, you know, no shortage of psychedelic hangovers going on this one here. You know, a few 6 and 7 minute tracks dotted in between the shorter ones, just to keep the strangeness element, the weird up. And this one's really been growing on me, so very, very, again, happy to grab that for $12. Just not one you see around here all that often at all. It's not going to be the only Krautrock album that you'll see, but we'll get to that in a second. Now, these next batch were all from a record fair. The last one I went to was probably just before Christmas, or it might have been January, February, I forget now exactly. But anyway, Neil Young, everybody knows This Is Nowhere. Look, I've had this on CD for an age and just have never got around to picking up a vinyl copy. Decided that I wanted an Australian press, just kind of like that little local connection and history. Generally, Australian presses aren't known as being one of the greater presses. And I don't know whether that's so much in terms of quality of the record pressing itself. That may be the case. Certainly not later 70s and 80s. I would say there isn't much of a difference at all between the British and the US. This is probably towards that end, a late, mid-late 70s repress, I'm going to gather. And I picked this up for $10, so I'm really not going to argue with that. But just back to the pressing quality for Australian albums. Look, and any of you Aussies, please do chime in with your knowledge and input. I think where Australia really fell down in the presentation of their albums was in the cover and the bonus stuff. No posters, very rarely any posters anyway. You know, and then you get these very thin covers compared to the lovely thick American card sleeve covers that you would get, or you know, we did have flip backs and things, but generally if there was a way to cut corners in Australia, they would tend to do that. Never mind, still very happy to have that one. Same with this one here. Near mint, $15. I don't know how near mint that is. I don't think the cover at any rate is near mint. It's seen better days. But look, $15 for this guy here. Couldn't argue. The record is in lovely condition. Again, what are we talking? 79. Russ Never Sleeps. I've already got live Russ and have this on CD, but like I said, one of those ones where you just look, you're not going to go wrong with any Neil Young between 69 and 79. I think it's as simple as that. And so I need to plug those gaps, which these have done pretty admirably anyway. Alright, and this one doesn't need an awful lot to be said again, except I think I picked this up a little, even less than the stickered price, which you can see there I've got for $15. The band The Last Waltz, Australian pressing, triple LP, really decent condition. I thought anyway. Look, the cover's obviously not the greatest. Like I said, that very thin cover there, but the condition on the records, you got a booklet, very simple plain covers, but the condition of the records on there I was generally pretty happy with. There's a couple of little marks on there, but there's the Warner Burbank labels. Very, very happy indeed to finally get a copy of The Last Waltz. I mean, it's not that they're extremely hard to come by, but look, it's not unusual to see these for $30 to $40. Why pay that much when you can get them for 15, or it might have even been about 12 or 13 after I bundled in with a couple of other ones there. So the band The Last Waltz. Alright, and the last one, I might have alluded to this in my last finds video, which is quite some time ago now, but this one was bundled in, and I can't remember the one now, but I did mention it. So for both of them I ended up getting a $5 discount, or 5 or 10, probably a $5 discount, but Can with Soon Over Babaluma. So I am almost certain this is, yes, it's a US press. There is a little bit of a cutout there, but you've got that lovely foil tint cover. Really not too much wear going on this thing either, so you can see a fraction of it there, a little bit coming in there, you know, bits on the edges and a little on the back. But look, this has been loved. The spine's not doing amazingly. This has been loved, but you know, you can tell it's also been pretty well treasured. So very, very happy to grab this. A new one to me as well, not one that I've been had listened to before, maybe once, one cursory listen or that. So very, very interesting to hear. Can without you know, Suzuki, the shamanistic kind of leader intoning away from the front there. This is a much more band generated effort. Look, musically it's without peer. It's Can, you know what you're going to get, and it's going to be pretty good. it maybe doesn't hit quite the highs of the early 70s, but you know, as a working band and unit, it still definitely is one that I'll be holding on to without a question. So again, I keep saying it, but very, very happy to grab that you know, addition to the collection. Anytime Uncle Holger's the guy can make it my way, and I've got a couple more of his to show, makes me a very happy guy. Anyway, thank you everyone. Thank you so much for checking in here, and I do hope you're all doing very well. Let me know what you guys think. If you got any ideas on when the virus is going to play itself out and you'll be back to your old habits, you know. I mean, I'm dreaming thrift stores at the moment. I'm getting shakes from withdrawals and not having them. And I'm sure I'm not alone in that. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think the state of play is in your town, in your state, in your country, and when things might get back to some semblance of normal. And, you know, let me know as well what you think of these records. If you've been finding or spinning any things, and what vinyl's been coming in for you as well. But in the meantime, take care, everyone. Hope you're well, and talk to you soon. Cheers.